I think we're live, even though I don't see it on my screen yet. I see it on my telephone. I know it's like big time production in here. I've got my screen, I've got my telephone. So
All
let's
the
go back. Ah,
things.
there you are. Yay, technology. Fingers crossed that it stays for a while. So I am so beyond excited to have my guest on today. She is amazing. She is a rainbow dipped in sunshine. I'm not
Oh,
kidding you. She is
thank you.
phenomenal. So I just love you, Miss Suzanne. So let me start by reading a brief little bio here, and then we will get down to, excuse me, we'll get down to brass tacks. So, Miss Suzanne Castle is a writer, speaker, creator, and coach. Suzanne Castle's desire is to call to life the creative spirit in herself and others, to invigorate and honor artists and creatives as they lend their essential vision to the way we see the world. She's fond of saying, stuck is never the furthest you can go. And from Broadway to the boardroom, Suzanne leads leaders and teams into imagining possibilities. You might have seen her on the big screen or on a stage, as her first lifetime was spent as a professional actress and dancer. Of course. She is the founder of the brilliant collab leadership experience and the Sparkle Factor. And you're going to find out why she's the leader of Sparkle Factor. Miss Suzanne Castle, I'm so
Woo
excited
woo!
to have you here today.
I'm so excited to be here. I have been looking forward to this for, oh my gosh, we've had this in the books for like 8 weeks or something crazy, maybe even longer than that. And I love the work that you do. I love the community. I'm very honored that you would allow me to be in this space with you, with these extraordinary leaders that you have that are just, peppering themselves around you because you just really help everybody understand themselves differently and their process differently. I love you dearly.
Ah, thank you. And Miss Suzanne is like, she looks like she just came off this tropical cruise, but she's down in Texas right now. So she's had some stuff to deal with. So I mean, her water is still a little trickle. She just got her electricity back. She doesn't have any heat, but now it's like 79 degrees in Dallas, which it was like, what, 5 a week ago?
Yeah, I think this time last week we were colder than Moscow. It was
Oh my
sub-zero, which we
gosh.
don't get. So yeah, it's Texas is a little schizo in its weather for sure.
So I love the fact, and I really appreciate the fact that you rallied in your hair today. So let's get
Yay.
started. Is there
Woohoo!
anything else you wanted to add in that I didn't get from your bio, or anything
Oh
you need to?
gosh, no, no, no. I want to
Okay.
jump right in. So ask me
Okay, good.
all the things.
Awesome. So I want to find out how, like, kind of what inspired you to start this company? What was your journey to start what you're doing now?
I wish I could say that I was strategic because I do strategic development. So you'd think I would have had a strategy, but guess what? That's not the way life always works. And it literally fell into my lap. I had groups ask me to come and do speeches, keynotes, whatever it is you want to call them, for retreats. That's kind of how it started. And then from that, people were like, "Hey, would you come talk to my team?" And wow, the way that you look at communication is different than what we're hearing from anyone else. I'm like, because I'm an artist. Yeah, I'm not in the corporate space. I'm an artist first. And so what just became a invitation, I suddenly was like, huh, I like am 50 now and my body hurts and my knees hurt and I can't do all the performing like I used to in the way I wanted to. So let's do something else. And so that's really kind of how it started is I decided I needed to like codify what I was doing and get my act together. And so here I am trying to help companies and teams and entrepreneurs figure out how to show up differently in the space that they're in and really just really understand that when a problem comes their way, a conflict, they're stuck, that there's always a creative solution. And sometimes that's my magic in the world, I think.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And I love that you brought up the fact that there was not a logical path to this, because I think a lot of times as entrepreneurs we figure that there's only one way to do this, right?
Right.
And if we meet opposition along the way, then maybe we're not meant to do this. But I think the best thing and your biggest gift is letting go of the outcome. Like, you just listen to the universe say,
Yes.
I'm going to go this direction, and then you got that response back from people like, hey, you know what we really need from you, and then you jumped on that. So I
Yes.
love that. And you didn't stay stuck, right? You said your
Right.
knees hurt, you couldn't do this anymore, so you just kind of figured out what you could do in life. I love
That's right.
that.
That's right. Well, and I think we all have that in us, but sometimes we need someone alongside us to go, okay, hey, here's what I'm seeing. Let's try this together. And I love that kind of togetherness of the work that I do, the work that you do, which is I'm not just going to like sell you into something and you're doing it by yourself. I'm passionate about we do life together. So when you've got a problem, it's my problem. When you've got a success, we celebrate together. And so I really but that's the artist in me too. Is I went as a tennis player, so to speak. I was always in a company, right? And so you always have people around you and stage managers and people behind you. And I try to bring that kind of understanding of the way the world works into the work I'm doing now.
Well, and I love that it's called the collab, right? Because it's all about the collaboration,
Exactly
not the
right. Yeah.
competition. Yeah. So I'm sure that you were met with your fair challenges of challenges along the way. So what were some of those, and like how did you get past those or overcome those?
Well, so I have had the one of my brothers was killed in a car accident. My
Mhm.
parents kind of had a little meltdown. There was a younger brother. I was on the road. I had to stop and come help. I had to like do a career shift to just be present in my family. I have had suffered budget, shortfalls. I have been fired. I have been told I'm not pretty enough or smart enough or talented enough. I have wondered if I was going to eat and how to feed my kiddo when a neighbor dropped off groceries at my door. I have been where so many people are, which is you're just not sure if there's light at the end of the tunnel. And and there have been days that I threw myself a pretty fabulously glorious pity party. Disco ball, all the sad songs, way too much to drink, eating all the cookie dough, like all the things. And then you go, okay, I've given you space, but that's not all that I am, nor is it what I want to be, which I think is, for me, that's the guiding question in those hiccup moments, those little speed bumps that come along. Is this how I want things to be? And is this all I am? And those two questions then usually kind of open up possibility thinking in my way to say, okay, this isn't who I want to be. So what's next? What can I do? What kind of power do I have in this situation? What kind of decision can I make instead, even if I don't have a lot of resources? And I think sometimes we get so stuck in here, right, in our brain space that we really can't see a way forward.
Well, and I love that you brought up power. I mean, there's such tremendous power in the power of choice and realizing that you have a choice, realizing that you don't have to stay stuck, realizing that, like you said, I love that you could throw yourself a fabulous pity party and then be done with it, like grieve. And I don't think,
Yep.
there is a grieving to that you need to give to your situation, whatever that challenge is for you now.
Right.
And then, I mean, that's where the saying comes, like, pick yourself up by the bootstraps and go, okay, now I can continue to use my energy focused on what I don't have, or I could take that energy and
Yep.
find what I can do to get what I do want, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And sometimes it's I need to phone a friend. Or sometimes it's wow, I probably need to ask for help in this situation, which is really hard for me. I'm terrible at asking for help. Or it's I need to gain a new skill. Or sometimes it's I just got to take a shower. Like all those things can be true, right? And just the action of it, the movement of it, the making yourself get up and do something, I think sometimes really helps us embody a differentness than where we
Yeah.
stay stuck.
Yeah, I remember when I would, when I was younger and I would, be sad and my mom, I'd cry and, because that's,
What you
being a
do.
10-year-old girl or whatever, right? And so she'd say, get up and wash your face. Things will look better in the morning. And
That's
then
right.
Rachel Hollis came out with a book that said, girl, just wash your
Wash your
face. And
face.
there's such strength in that. Just changing, just getting out of the not only the headspace that you're in, but the physical space that you're in, just to get up and walk or get up and, throw on the radio and do a crazy dance or just to go hang out with a
Exactly.
pet or just, just that
Yeah.
interruption in your
Yeah.
mind cycle, I think really, truly helps. Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I try to teach that. I mean, for whomever, wherever. But the interrupting the cycle is just, I think, some of our own internal magic that we don't liberally spread around as much as we should. Which is, if you're stuck with a solution, it doesn't have to be that you're suffering, but you're just stuck. You don't know what to do. Okay, go do something different. Like get up, walk, go to a museum, go play outside, go blow bubbles, go and do something else that has nothing to do with what you're doing, because you're giving your brain a chance to catch up and your brain work for you in a creative possibility scenario. Whereas if you're just staring, it's like the writers that talk about they're staring at the blank page and it just freaks them out, right? And they're like, so just don't write. Today you're not writing. Just get up, go do something else. Like go ride a bike. You're still, because it'll allow your brain to kind of play catch up, right?
Yeah, yeah, I love that. And I was watching, it was funny, I was watching a little comedy snip this morning from Bob Newhart. Now I'm really aging myself, but it was actually Darren Hardy that was sharing it with his audience.
There you
And they
go.
were talking about, again, he was talking about, this guy said, well, how do I stop doing that? And he said, well, I'm going to play this little clip for you. And it's hysterical. And I encourage everybody to go watch it on YouTube. And it's this comedy, I think it was from like Mad TV or one of those sketch comedy
Yeah.
things. And this gal came in with a problem. He was playing a therapist and he said, okay, I'm going to give you 2 words now. Stop it. And she's like, should I write this down? He's like, well, you can if it makes it easier for you. But again, 2 words, stop it. Like just, and it was just funny over and over again. And sometimes we don't think that that's all it takes. It's just that control and that power we have just to go, okay, me sitting here spinning my wheels is not doing anything for anybody. Get up and just stop it and just come back, and you'll look at it with a new set of eyeballs, right?
That's right. And you just allow, again, I can't advocate enough for your brain to just interact in the gray matter differently. So when you're just trying to solve something, if it's you're suffering, you've got a tragedy, or you just got fired, or you're looking for a different way to show up online, let's say, you're activating a certain part of your brain. And you're like, okay, this is the way, right? Like that Mandalorian, this is the way. But the problem is that sometimes we need different space inside of our brain to work on the problem differently. Disney teaches this, yes and, which comes out of improv. But for example, in my workshops, I'd love to do this. Do we have time for me to do something with you? I wish I had my Mickey ears. They're like in the closet. Okay, so when I'm in a workshop, I'll take Mickey ears and I'll go, what are these? And people are like, oh, Mickey ears. You wear them on your head. You wear them when you're at Disneyland. Yes, great. Okay, now you have 30 seconds with your table to come up with 50 ways to use this, not as that. Not as that. What else could it be? Is it a dog toy? Is it a chip bowl? And then I literally set a timer and I'm like, you got to have 50 ways. And what is astounding is that there's usually more than 50 ways in 30 seconds to use the Mickey ears. That's the kind of creative practice ritual we need to be doing with ourselves when we just feel like we're stuck and there's chaos and we don't see a way forward at all. Let's creatively problem solve.
Well, and I love, and I'm going to interject that and tell people in the audience that you're not working with all the time actors or creatives. You're working with like people from big corporations that are typical corporations, like the corporate environment, right? So I love it. It just cracks me up to think of them sitting with the Mickey ear thought, but to get them out of, like you said, and I love that. And I haven't heard that before, into the different part of the gray matter.
Yeah. Yep. You got to do that. And it's, sometimes there's like a box on the table, when we could do things in person. Right. And I'm like, wait, this is your treasure. You don't even know what this is. And we open it and it's confetti that explodes everywhere. And just the change that comes over people, and they relax and they laugh, or they're like, oh my God, it's in my hair. And they're taking pictures and all this kind of stuff. And then I'm like, okay, now back to the problem we were talking about. And you'd be amazed at just that little thing, that little moment, that playfulness that then allows them to access what they already have inside of them that has just not been, lit up in the right way.
That's why you're so good at what you do. So what is your what is your big passion project right now? What have you got going on?
Well, my biggest passion project by far is my collab experience. And so this is brand new on the scene, just started. In fact, I'm in my launch group. So I have a little baby beta group. And these are leaders that really are seeking, how do we show up in the space in a collaborative way? Research is showing us over and over now, Harvard Business Review, Inc. magazine, you name it. They're all doing work around collaboration. That's going to be the wave of the future. And I think the pandemic, we went like this because of the pandemic. We had to learn to collaborate differently. We're not seeing each other all the time. We're not in the same space sometimes, but you're still going to be working on projects together. There's a lot of school districts now. They're doing collaborative learning pods, meaning that you're working on projects constantly together. You're not just rote learning anymore. It's definitely the wave of the future, but we haven't been taught those skills on what it looks like to create a collaborative culture. How do you communicate collaboratively, right? How do you then combat conflict in a collaborative spirit? How do you sit down and project manage things that you don't have a project manager anymore? Everybody at the table is doing it together. So I put together these little modules and was using them with my elite clients, and then thought, you know what? There's a lot of people that need this. Let's figure it out. And so that's my passion project right now, is really taking people through a track where they can self-study and kind of engage differently in collaborative leadership and what it means.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So what's your 5-year vision for your company? Have you thought that far in advance yet? Or?
Oh yes, I'm going to take over the world in 5 years. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, it's funny because I posed that question. People were like, well, up until like a year ago, I did have a 5-year plan, but now it's just like, let's get through the next month, right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Actually, it's funny you say that because what I am teaching my clients right now is only be planning in 8-week chunks. Like you can have a goal, but really it's too hard if you put all your eggs in finances and people management in a 5-year plan, and then everything has to shift as things open and close again and variants happen and all the things, right? But I will say my 5-year plan actually is I want to say I have a 10-year plan. And my 10-year plan is I'm 50 years old, and at year 60, I want to be done. I'm going to retire. I'm going to do things differently because I'm going to be living in Italy part of the time and Hawaii part of the time. And I'm just going to be leading and curating tours and retreats for people. So everything I'm doing right now is setting myself up for doing the kind of soul wellness work that I ultimately want to do by the time I'm 60. So, helping leaders kind of unleash themselves and understand that internal alignment piece is really an important part of my work because it's all the stair steps to make those steps happen.
Yeah, awesome. And such important work. I can probably guarantee that there was no glitter at any corporate meetings 20 years ago.
Oh,
Right?
I bring glitter everywhere I go. Like let's be perfectly clear. Even if it's just glitter hairspray and I'm spraying it on the tablecloths before everybody walks in the door, like there's always going to be glitter somewhere.
I love that. And I think the collaboration piece, I think you really hit on something there. I think the collaboration piece is so important. And I'm starting to hear this in even like, women's circles,
Yeah.
women entrepreneurs, like the collaboration, not competition, for one.
Yes. Yeah.
And then for two is that we've always thought, especially as leaders, is that it was our job as leaders to bestow wisdom among everybody else. And it's
Right.
not that case anymore. It's to
Right.
like zip it and to
Yeah.
listen to what's going on in the front line and to talk to the people that are actually in the trenches every day. So
Yes. Yes. And
yeah,
I know you do a lot of work around that. I mean, it's part of kind of your genius in the world is helping people access that material. And I am grateful for what you put out. But I think that we were taught, I think out of the rise of feminism, we were taught to not let our voice be silent and to stand up for ourselves. And I'm not saying don't do that. What I am saying is, and have powerful women around you reminding you of your worth and your value and that you can do it. And when you fall down, they'll be in the pity party with you, and then they'll throw confetti with you when things go well. And what I would say to your audience is, I mean, if you're feeling chaotic and you don't have a sparkle squad around you and you don't have those people in your corner, say stop it. Like you were saying, right? Stop it right now. Like there's a way to make sure you have access to those people, because I think that is the only way any of us are going to succeed in the future.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. The Sparkle Squad. I need a neat team, a neat name for my team.
Well, it
I
just
love
went like it was someone else that gave us. There's like someone else said to me, this isn't just a squad. This is a sparkle squad. We're all helping each other live better and less chaotically and show up in our magic
Yeah.
selves. I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to take that. I'm going to borrow that.
Awesome. And it's stuck. All these years later, it's stuck. So
Yeah.
what's the best piece of advice you've ever gotten from anybody?
From anybody? Holy
Anybody.
moly. That you need more razzle dazzle. That's the best piece of advice. Okay, so here's where that came from. I was auditioning for a part, and
Yeah.
I was not the favorite for that particular part. I was a little too short um, for what they were hoping for, and
Yeah.
had all the skills technically, right? And the person that was bringing us in says, I just overheard, if we just had a little more razzmatazz, if we just had a little more razzle dazzle, like that's what we're missing. That's why we're having a hard time casting. So I went on the stage, did my thing. It was my callback audition, did my thing. And then the casting director said, well, why should it be you over someone else that I want? And I said, because I am going to bring the razzle dazzle. I might not be the best person on the stage, but the eyes will not leave me. I promise you. And I got the
Okay,
part.
that is not something I would ever correlate to you, that someone told you that you need more razzle dazzle. Wow.
And I took that to heart, and I mean
Yeah.
that kind of in a tongue-in-cheek kind of way. But what that is all about is know what your magic is in the world, and it's okay, and live into that, and don't let someone else decide for you that you're supposed to show up in a certain way. I was just having a conversation with someone this morning who reminded me, you don't have to be in all the places all the time. You have to be in the
Well,
right places at the right time.
yeah, and you can't be, number one. And number two, I think you do disservice to people if you try to spread yourself that thin.
Yeah. Well, and your own self, like you're scattered, you don't feel good, like you get on the chaos merry-go-round, you don't know how to get off, suddenly you're nauseous, like it's just terrible. So stop it. Like I
Exactly.
love that you said, let's stop it.
I mean, certainly there are some things in therapy that require a little bit more stop it, but sometimes that's all it takes is like knock it off and stop
Yeah.
it. You know, that's
Yeah,
how you.
for sure.
And it was a conversation because this guy asked Darren Hardy, how do you stop interrupting people when they're trying to talk? And he's like, I don't have any magic other than this video just to stop it. Like put a rubber band around your wrist. There's all these tricks, but just stop it, you know? So yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So what's a habit that's been really instrumental in your success?
Well, okay. You're probably all going to laugh and roll your eyes, so just get it out right now. But I think that the best habit that I have learned to cultivate for myself is to do things for myself. And that looks differently from person to person. Meaning that like all the gurus will say, well, journal in the morning, do gratitude at night. And I teach some of that stuff too. But like every day, what is lighting me up is a little bit different. So in the summer, I literally take an hour to go sit on a raft in my pool, and it's usually I'm watching Laverne and Shirley. Like it's nothing magical. I mean, it's nothing great. It just allows me to just take a moment for myself. Like today, I did a little dance party with the Wii upstairs while my daughter was outside skateboarding so she wouldn't laugh at me, just because I wanted to. So so that habit of just because I want to is the most important reason that I think I've been successful, that I have staying power, and that I haven't just given up. Because every day I find a way to create joyful, FULL living. Meaning that what is it today that's going to bring me joy? Well, I'm going to do that. That's just as important as taking this meeting or doing my finances or the XYZ other things that I'm supposed to be doing right now.
Yes. Oh, this is so important. I love this. I struggled with this for a long time. Like all the gurus say, like you said, that there should be, a miracle morning. You should get out of bed and leap out like a gazelle, ready to meditate, visualize.
Right.
And I thought, that's not me. What's wrong with me? And then I thought, well, that's just not who I am. But
Right.
for me, to get up and cuddle with the dogs and say hello to my husband and snuggle with my son,
Yeah.
I don't even check emails till 10 o'clock in the morning. So, find out. And I love that. Find out what works for you and then do it. If that brings you joy, just do it. There's no right formula that says you have to be out of bed at 6. You have to have your meditation done by 7. You have to have your emails written. Who said that? Stop it, right? Who said that we have to do that?
Right.
So I love that. Right. Okay, now every time, go ahead.
No, please, go ahead.
Every time I watch Laverne and Shirley, I love
it's silly. It's just, it could be Happy Days, it could be anything. Bewitched is one of my other favorites. But it's so fascinating because we get so stuck in the loop of what someone has told us. And so I think you said it really well. And when it doesn't serve you, you're like, what's wrong with me? Rather than saying this tool or this resource isn't serving me. So there's going to be another one. There's a next. What's the next thing?
Exactly.
It's like the great jean debate going on right now. If you don't know, there's this huge debate over getting rid of skinny jeans and only using mom jeans, and that there's a certain segment of the population that if you're not wearing the high-waisted mom jeans, and there's something wrong with you. I'm like, I just learned how to embrace skinny jeans because I hate jeans, and I now am really happy with myself in skinny jeans. I'm not giving them a skinny jeans. Like, laugh at me all you want to. But again, I'm doing it for myself, and I feel power in that decision and that choice. And I think that is what, you need to embrace yourself with.
Well, and besides, if you try to keep up with all the trends, society, whether that's fashion trends or other trends, society is so fickle. I remember Saturday Night Live had a sketch about mom jeans, right?
Oh, yeah,
so,
for sure.
Yeah. So at one point, those were funny. So I think you just need to, do you. And I'm surprised anybody's wearing jeans. Who's wearing jeans right now? Everybody's in sweatpants.
Nobody. I have on real pants today because I was, I felt I would show up better. But, let's face it. If everybody's honest right now, wherever you're watching from, you like dress from, the waist up, and then you've got your tennis shoes on or your slippers and your yoga pants or your pajama pants. Who cares? Who cares? So.
Well, and the silver lining in all of this is that I think it's taught us that the world still turns, right? Like if we're
Yes.
in our sweatpants and we still show up on Zoom and we're still
Yep.
collaborating with our coworkers,
Right.
this world still spins. It's allowed us to relax a little bit, I think. So
I hope so, because that's good,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So looking back, I think people always ask the question of like, what's something you would have done differently? And you're more than welcome to answer that. But I also like to ask people what's something that you're really grateful that you did do in the beginning or even along the way.
Hmm. So something I think that I wish I had done differently was realize that there were people around me that wanted me to succeed instead of deciding that I had to do it all by myself and that I was in competition with everybody. Because the performing world makes it that. But it's really not that. Collaboration is really huge in the artistic community, but if you're in certain spaces, they kind of drill that out of you. So I wish that I had accessed that differently in the beginning. What was the other question? Sorry.
Just something that you're really glad that you did, something you were grateful you set up in the beginning or you started thinking
Yeah.
about since the beginning.
I think something that I'm really glad that I did and am doing still is I've made travel a super priority in my life, which, yeah, thanks Rona for messing all that up. But still, like for right now, I'm traveling, right? Maybe to the driveway. But it is a big important part of how I structure my year is where do I want to travel? Because what I figured out is it gets me out of my head, gets me out of my normal. I meet different kinds of people. I look at situations differently, and it forces me to not be in the same stayed rhythm that sometimes is keeping me stuck and not living my best life. So for me, that is something that I have done that was super instrumental to where I am now, and that I'm going to continue to do.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I think travel, especially outside of the US, nothing against the US. I like it. I was born here. I still continue to live here. But I think that Americans tend to think that we're the center of the universe. So,
Well, aren't we? Come on.
so I
Sorry.
think it's good for us to get out of the house,
Yeah.
especially when you can't travel and,
Yeah.
and surround yourself with other people that are doing that. And I totally forgot that you had that aspect of your business
Yeah.
that you take people on tours. I think I stumbled across that on one of your Instagram or Facebook posts. I'm like, what? She does this too? You're
Oh yeah.
amazing.
And that's vanity project, right? I want to go places, so I'm like, who wants to go with me? I'll do all the research. Like, let's make it happen. I speak a couple of languages. Let's go do something together.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah. No, that's not a vanity project. That's like you figured out how to do something that you love
yeah, yeah.
and have other people on the trip. That's a genius vanity project.
Right, right.
Awesome.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yes.
Awesome. So I know that you are a big believer in like ongoing education and feeding your brain. And
Yeah.
I love to ask people what's feeding their brain right now, like podcasts or books or webinars or like what's going on in your brain right now.
So I think honestly, I'm engaging a lot in play theory. So I'm listening to podcasts that are talking about play theory. I'm watching TEDx speakers talk about play theory. I have I'm a big Disney person. So I have a bunch of Disney business books on my shelf and I'm rereading them again and realizing the genius behind kind of imagination theory, possibility thinking, and what it does for you. Just even personally, much less from a business side of space, meaning that I don't want to be 50 and not be playful. And so I just decided I am done. I'm done not being silly or doing the things that. So I try to color every day, even if it's just for 5 minutes or blow bubbles. I have a confetti drawer, different different kinds of things that just make me laugh and get me kind of. And I do creative practices. I ran a blog for a long time called 365 Creative Practices, which is a creative practice you did every single day. And I think I'm going to bring that back up again because I think that might be the key to us in our sanity level is figuring out how to play. So all that theory that's being done around playful engagement is really important to me right now.
Oh, I love that. Like the Imagineers. I never thought about that. I was thinking play like a production play.
Oh yeah, like Shakespeare.
Interesting.
Oh.
Yeah. Interesting. I love that. I'm going to check into that. And this is another reason it's kind of a selfish question because I love to like hear what other people are listening to. Yeah, so I can go listen to them too. I love that. It's kind of expand my mind.
Okay, then let me I'm going to stand up for a second. So if you're looking for a great book right now, so this is called Creating Magic. Cockrell was vice president of Disney operations, and he wrote a book on leadership strategies from that they utilize at Disney. But it helps you create magic not only in your business but in your life. I cannot recommend him enough. Like whatever Lee Cockrell is doing, you need to be following. He's a genius.
I love this. That's why I asked this question, because I've never heard of the man before. So awesome. Play theory. That's really cool. Thanks
You're
for
welcome.
sharing that. Yeah, thanks for sharing. So in that vein, in the sharing vein, along those lines, do you have anything you'd like to share with the audience?
I put something together. Because I was like doing my homework and looking at maybe the kinds of things that you're putting out in the community, the people that you're drawing near to you. And I think it is evident that we tend to need more self-care. We need some strategies to de-stress. We need to understand how to really align ourselves with priorities and get off the overwhelmed merry-go-round. And when this like pandemic chaos is raining around us, we don't take enough time to do those things. So what I did is I put together a little kit that gets you out of that chaos and gets you some control. I hope that's okay. And I'm just giving it to you. I mean, I'd probably sell it for like, I don't know, $200 or whatever. It's chock full of resources that you can do right now. And some are like, I can do it in 30 seconds. Some are like, I could do it in 5 minutes, but it's literally like a little workbook. It's an actual workbook. So I don't know if you're going to put the link in, but if you go to my website, SuzanneCastle.com, and there's a section for freebies, and if you do the little /chaos, it's embedded on there, chaos, CHAOS, and it's for you, and I'll be sure and get you the link, and I'd love anybody to just go grab that, and you got to put in your email so I know where to send it, and so but that way it'll go through the atmosphere very quickly, and you can start taking control of your life.
Oh, Suzanne, I love that. Thank you so much. And you're right. It is so important. And I just posted an article. I think it was from Entrepreneurs or Success Magazine. It was one of those. And it was about self-care, and like a trip to Target. A trip to Target is not self-care, because you're still worried about like getting stuff for your husband or what do the kids need? Like, and it goes way deeper. Although a bubble bath is lovely, it goes way deeper than just a bubble bath, right? So I love that. What a timely and what a generous offer. Thank you so much.
No. Yeah. We do it like we do this together, right? So I'm bringing some resources I use. I know you populate with resources too. I'm just about let's make the magic happen.
Yeah, exactly. So is there anything else that you would like to add, like how people can find you and how they can work with you, or anything else that we missed in the
You know what? Everything lives on my website. Everything.
Easy peasy.
So just go to SuzanneCastle.com. You can find me on social media. If you go there, all the little links are there. I'm on all the things, Clubhouse, all the things, because I can't figure out where I want to spend my most time, just like the rest of us. So easy to find. But SuzanneCastle.com has every way, every possibility that you can to work with me and jump on a call with me. I want to hear what people do in the world. It's my favorite part, collecting stories.
Yeah, I love that. I'll make sure to put all those links down below. And I love that you put it on a website that's just like, boom. That's what I did. Like everything's just boom right there. Easy peasy for you too, right?
Yes. I can't manage all the things. Believe me, I can manage the one thing. So it lives on the one thing.
Yeah, exactly. Repeatable, scalable, and easy for people. I so appreciate you being here. I simply adore you. I think we've been in each other's lives for, I don't know, a couple years now at least. And I just, like everything Suzanne does, she does it with such flair and with such a spirit of service. And that's what I really appreciate about you. That you just bring in, like, you can start at this level when you talk to Suzanne, and when you walk away, you're going to be like, it's 11. It's amazing. Yeah. You're just such a joy in the life, in everyone's life. And I so appreciate you being here today.
You honor me completely. And thank you again for making this space. All of the people that you have on the Bold Breakthrough, they all have such meaningful, amazing stories. And so thank you for curating all this goodness for us.
Absolutely. Well, you take care. Go enjoy your 79 degree weather.
I am.
Do a little dance party, have some treats that someone generously to set your direction, which was so sweet.
I know I have chocolate chip cookies. I'm so excited. I'm going to probably go and grab a couple of chocolate chip cookies.
Go hang out in the pool and watch a little Laverne Shirley.
There you go. That's right.
Bye, you guys. Catch us next week, Tuesdays at noon here for another Bold Breakthrough. And thank you to Miss Suzanne for being here today. So appreciate it. Bye, guys.